What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Achieve Podcast. The first episode, I think, that's going to be posted. I'm Jackson Leech. This is Cade Jones, my buddy, co-partner, co-host. Cade, you like to tell them a little bit about yourself?
My name is Cade Jones. I'm from Huntington Beach, California. I am the youngest of four brothers. I am a thrower for Clemson track and field. I am in mechanical engineering. I'm going into second semester of my junior year. I am minoring in mathematics and economics. Some of my passions are long walks on the beach, weightlifting, and movies.
Beautiful. Cade recently joined the team, the Achieve team. So
The cult.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, there's a couple of us, Jake, a couple guys from Virginia, myself, and then Cade joined in. We just thought he'd be a great addition to the team, bringing so much expertise.
Being the smartest and the funniest, why wouldn't they want me?
It's tough.
And most humble.
So we're glad to have Cade here. I think it's just going to be me and him, probably just doing the podcast thing from here on out, which I'm super excited about personally.
Definitely.
We can't wait to get started. This is day 6 of the Achieve journey that we've gone public, and we'll be posting this one up, first podcast.
So elephant in the room. Joe Rogan really stepped on our toes by having Dave Portnoy the same week that we were...
right. Just inconsiderate, honestly.
Did he not know? Or...
I mean, it's just he kind of made it about him.
Either dumb enough to not care or inconsiderate. Pick one, Joe.
Unreal. I mean, Andrew Tate gets arrested, and then that happens. So, yeah, let's get into it, though. Let's, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who might think Achieve is a quote page on Instagram, let's just talk about what Achieve is. So, for me, Achieve is a brand, and when I say brand, I don't mean a company just yet. I do mean a brand. So, just like Nike is a brand and they promote motivation or fitness, and then they just happen to make shoes and clothing, we're a brand that promotes small everyday changes impacting success in the long term, and really just like a community of people trying to better themselves.
So, at risk of sounding esoteric and full of myself, Achieve to me is more of a place than a business. It's more of a community for like-minded people than anything else.
Right, and I think that's probably the toughest message to get through, is that we are not looking to sell anything. We're not looking for you to buy anything. We're really just wanting to bring together a group of people who all wanted to achieve goals and wanted to do better in their personal life, and we said, hey, what if we had a platform or a place where everybody could do that? And this is kind of where we're starting out. It's a decentralized life coaching group, I guess, and it's just kind of a community where we're helping each other out, holding each other accountable, and trying to achieve our goals. So
I asked my coach the other day, this is a little off topic, a little on topic, I asked him, do you think collegiate athletes are pushed too much today or not pushed enough? And he said, I believe 100,000% that they are not pushed enough. So I was thinking dang, that's interesting. Everybody, when you're in it, you think you're working as hard as you possibly can, but then you look left and look right, and you see people that are in the same struggle and either doing better or worse, and there's obviously a hierarchy there of people that achieve more. So I think with this Achieve brand, it's kind of just pulling people together. Competition is going to be inherent in it, but it's going to be a community, at its core.
Definitely. Do you think that when he's talking about collegiate athletes, so just to give you some background, we were both track athletes at Clemson University. So I run, he throws.
Not very fast and not very far.
Yeah, exactly. So we had to reach for other outlets, That's why we made a podcast. Do you think that sometimes in sports pushing too hard is a good thing?
Man, it's different for everybody, because I was definitely the king of not following my own advice with injuries and stuff in high school, where if one of my teammates, I played football in high school, one of my teammates was hurt, I'd be like, dude, go see the trainer, you got to nip this in the butt. It's not worth a sprained ankle lingering for the whole season, you should really go get it looked at. And then I would get like my knee rolled up on. I just keep playing. Like I was terrible at following my own advice. So something that Jocko Willink talks about is like being able to detach from situations and look at it logically from an outside perspective. And I think sometimes I would go a little too hard, and sometimes I would go a little too soft. And at times, and it's hard to be consistent with what advice you would give and what advice you give yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, kind of the foundation of this brand was, I thought I had gotten my third stress fracture in 3 years in November. I didn't, fortunately, but for about 2 or 3 weeks, the doctor told me, you're on crutches, don't walk, we're going to get you an MRI. It's not looking good. And I, at that point, was like, my career's done. I'm going to retire. I'm looking for other things to go into. That's kind of when Jake started talking about this brand, and I was like, I'm just going to start lifting weights, and then that's going to kind of become my whole thing. It's just like lifting weights and recording it. And then in that process, I was like, you know what, honestly, giving up, which is really what I was looking at doing, was not going to be enough for me. I hadn't accomplished the goals I set out to accomplish. I wasn't as fast as I wanted to be before I hung my shoes up. And I think once the injury came back and I wasn't actually broken, I just strained my quad a little bit. I had already formed this mindset that I was going to quit and just be given that second chance. It just brought a whole new life to running, and I realized I wanted to break 14 in the 5K. So that's one goal I'll set right now. I've been saying it for a while, but 14 minutes to 5K right now, I run 14:24. So I'm trying to break 14 minutes before the end of this spring. So about 5 months to do that.
So 5 seconds off each K.
That's right. That's right. Or 2 seconds per lap, which is probably worse to think about, arguably, with 12 and a half laps. But that's kind of where this came from also, is like I want to track my journey to go and do that, and I've recorded some stuff, and I'm afraid to post it, quite honestly, because it's incredibly cringy, and I don't want to come across as just like the washed up athlete that's like trying to get views on his videos. So I record it for me. I make these videos for me. Haven't posted them yet, but I think one day I will, and maybe it'll be a nice little docu-series. Maybe like I need 5 months of filming and consistent, progress before I can be like, hey, this is where I was, and this is where I'm at now.
Like Steve Jobs probably wishes he did this.
Right. And I mean, that's what I've said the whole time. It's a podcast, it's a video cast, it's a video log, whatever you want to call it. All of the above, I think it's beneficial. So
yeah, I mean, they started in the garage. We're in a bathroom,
right?
If whether it's a leg up on it or a leg to the side, we're near them at least.
We're in parallelism.
Yeah.
Cade, for you, I know you were injured with your wrist for a while. Was there anything that happened during that injury that you were like, when I get back on the horse, this is what I'm gonna do?
No, I was actually like very proud of myself for how I took the wrist injury. Not to like pat myself on the back, but like I got the news that so I was maxing out on cleans, and it was kind of a freak thing. I caught the bar a little too close on my palm, and it was a compression fracture on my wrist, where basically it's like I fell down and caught myself, but vertically, just weight falling down this way. And I tore 2 ligaments in my wrist, and I fractured my scaphoid. And when I went to the doctor, he said, do you have a fracture? There's a good chance this will never heal, and it will be fractured for the rest of your life. I was like, man, that really sucks. And my mom was teary-eyed in the room because she didn't want to see me have to retire young. And I just said, God's got this. There's nothing I can really do about it besides what they tell me, which was be in a cast. So really nothing much I can do about it. And I was just patient, and I was like, whatever happens, happens. It's out of my control. I have absolutely zero regrets for how I was injured. I was going 110% in the weight room, and I get hurt. That's how the world works. There's going to be some casualties when you go all out. But I was really proud of myself because I was able to control what I controlled, and the stuff that I couldn't control, I just let it be. And I just worked as hard as I could in physical therapy. I was in there 5 days a week in the training room.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out. We already said Jocko Willink. I read The Dichotomy of Leadership, and just like the whole dichotomy of train too hard, train too little, trying to rehab too fast. I've been through it. I broke my femur, I broke my tibia, 2 separate times, 2 separate years, and I've kind of gotten down the process of like it's a slow grind to get back. You can't rush anything, you can't push yourself too hard, but when it is time to go, buckle up, because you've been itching to get back into it.
I've actually been told several times several too, I guess not technically, but to quit sports because of injuries. I have a condition called congenital spinal stenosis, where my spinal cord is naturally thin, so it's kind of rough on contact sports, and I played football, so it wasn't ideal at all, and they were like, oh man, that's really not good, you're easily susceptible to paralysis, like you could get paralyzed a lot easier than somebody else. I was like, well, that's brutal. But, so literally I went home that day, I was like, I'm just going to quit and play lacrosse. And I was like, that's a terrible idea. I'd suck at lacrosse. So I just kind of ignored it, which dumbest, smartest thing I've ever done. But I kept playing football, and it worked out well enough. I had no dreams of playing in college. I didn't want to. I wasn't good enough. I was too short. But I was the team captain. I was voted most inspirational, which I thought was cool, because when my coach was introducing the award, he said that I was like held together by duct tape by the end of every season, and I basically was.
Yeah.
Because every year I'd get another brace to wear, prescribed by some medical professional that was like, you can't play unless you wear this brace. Whether it's like my thumb, my elbow, my shoulder. My shoulder slipped out 1.5 billion times. It was terrible, but it worked out in the end, and I have no regrets.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I also have been told to quit. I mean, I wasn't going to share this, but just from the Army's perspective, I'm an ROTC, so I'm getting commissioned in about a year, and they consistently tell me to stop running because they don't want me to risk everything they've given me and paid for my school and everything, which makes a lot of sense. I just...
My tax dollars.
Unfortunately, don't listen. Yeah. But that actually brings me back to the Achieve slogan, which I know we're going to talk about.
Real quick, I just wanted to say this. I wrote a lot of my college essays on wanting to prevent athletes from retiring young. Because I'm in mechanical engineering, but when I wanted to be in bioengineering, I thought about designing prosthetics, and I was like, I do not want kids to be told they're done playing.
Right. Because
it's like in Moneyball, we all get told. Some get told at 15, some get told at 50, but we're all told.
Right.
I was like, it's brutal to have to tell a kid in high school that he's done.
Yeah, that's why they call it Tommy John surgery. Because Tommy John was not done, I'm just making that up. That's not true at all.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
The Achieve slogan, though. So we're working on it. The tagline is, "What did you achieve today?" We're workshopping that. I like it. The slogan is, "Small everyday actions contribute to long-term success." And I've been working with all the words: contribute, formulate, what have you. How do you feel about that?
So, Donnie Schenkel. Okay. He's an American weightlifter. I believe he won world championships in Paris in 2011. That could be completely wrong, but I have a poster of him in my room in Paris in 2011 at world championships. I don't know if he won or not. It's signed by him, so that's pretty cool. That was one of my Christmas gifts earlier in life. And his weightlifting brand, he owns a gym in Scottsdale, Arizona, I believe. His company is called Dynamis Weightlifting.
Okay.
Dynamis. I believe Alexander the Great. What was he, Greek? Roman? I have no idea. Something. But whatever it translates to, Dynamis basically means the will to win. Alexander.
Is he Persian?
Persian?
No. Alexander the Great was...
He was great, is what he was. And he used the word dynamis to describe the will to win in his troops, because there were a lot of battles that Alexander the Great fought in where he was, on paper, he should have lost, but his soldiers had more dynamis than the other soldiers on the other side, and it's all about the will to win. And the Dynamis weightlifting tagline is serious gradual adaptations. So
no punctuated equilibrium there. We're talking about gradualism.
Serious gradual adaptation. So when you told me the tagline, like, what did you achieve today? I was like, well, it's kind of on brand. So I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you sharing. I do think he was a Roman emperor.
Roman?
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, that was the Roman Empire. Like, he was the guy that spread Rome from, this to that.
No, yeah.
But one quote I was going to share from Alexander the Great, one of my favorite quotes of all time. Alexander looked over his kingdom and wept, for there was nothing left to conquer. That's hard. That is hard.
I don't think that's true either.
Did he said that?
That was Caesar.
I swear it was Alexander.
Bro, have you seen The Big Short?
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling goes, and Caesar wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer, in the bathroom on the phone.
Maybe he was misquoted. I mean, probably neither of them.
Yeah.
Neither
I'm sure Ryan Gosling
probably neither of them said it. Honestly, they made that up later. You know how they do that? Like, I'll quote somebody just to say that they said it, but I'll say it. You know, I'll make up a quote and then say, "Yeah, well, Confucius said that," just to make myself sound more like valid. I don't think either of them said it. I would love to know that.
I believe the phrase is in Caesar wept.
But he wouldn't have. But who is saying that Caesar said that? You know.
Jared Vennet does say in Caesar wept.
We'll find out.
Oh, the quote is normally attributed to Alexander the Great.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
When Alexander saw the breadth of his... Wow. That's crazy.
That is a W.
I'll yield that.
All right.
I'll yield that I get my history information from movies.
I mean, The Big Short was just wrong.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That makes me think a lot more different about that scene. Because I thought that was a pretty badass scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite movies. That's top 5 for
sweet.
me. I love it. I love it.
Don't get me going on the movies.
Yeah, good grief. Not what this episode is about, but... So,
with Achieve, where do you see this being in 5 years?
So, I can take that...
Be bold.
I can take it a couple different ways. On one hand, I'm thinking like a community of basically everybody who's motivated. If you combined like Instagram, Strava, Strava's a running
Reddit
app.
thread.
Yeah, a Reddit thread. Basically like a community of people who are all together achieving goals, and they're all small groups maybe. Like say one group's dedicated to running, one group's dedicated to weightlifting, and they're all communicating, working together, sharing tips. Even like an intelligentsia type of model, like the Manhattan Project. Like, hey, I want to figure out this problem.
You lost me there.
Let me tie it back. I want to figure out this problem. Like, I'm moving away from the fitness, going more towards
once you said Manhattan
academics.
Project, I figured.
I'm saying like, let's bring in like 12 scientists who are trying to do the same thing, but they're all in separate locations. Bring them together so they can figure something out. That's as broad as I could get. Is just like connecting people. Specifically, though, I would want this to have a massive following. I would want, people to know the brand by its name, on the level of name brands that we have today. Like, people would know, they have these products, they have this merch, they have, these people in charge, these athletes they're sponsoring, these people they're investing in. Because it's not only about athletics. We are very athletic. We are, athletes. But I want it to extend beyond just athletics. I want it to be academic. I want it to be social. I want it to be powerful,
Something that I think is worth talking about is when you look at the economics of racism. Like, basically...
I think that's where we're going.
No, if you think about it, how far back racism, sexism, other bigoted ideologies have held back society from growing because people that did not, people that deserved certain positions and jobs and other, just jobs, for example, the best man, woman did not get the job when they could have and should have.
No true
due to racism.
Right.
So I think this is I think this will be very good for society as a whole of uniting people and being undisputably a community of hard workers.
Absolutely. We want meritocracy. I think, when I was looking at our team that we're building even, I'm like, we need more ideas. We need more people. We need somebody who doesn't even know what college track and field entails, But he happens to be a super hard worker on his chemistry or his biology. And we bring him in, and our commonality is our drive and our deeper core values, not just that surface level, hobbies or activities, right? We're together because we're both so driven to get something done.
So ideally these subforums on Achieve will be passions, not what you have to do.
Exactly.
It's not going to be clocking in at 95. It's going to be, I'm so stoked to go to work right now because I love my job.
Right.
People
right.
Like that.
We want people motivated But it's not a motivation brand, and I just want to throw that out there because I'm not going to be posting, hype videos.
Even though we do post a quote every day.
Right, I don't want to post Metro Boomin in the background of my video just to get people amped up because motivation isn't going to sustain anybody.
And it would do numbers.
Right, I mean it would. We could go national, but when I look at it, that's really what I'm trying to do is just get to a point where people know where to go when they have that ambition. They're working alone. Maybe their group of friends isn't as passionate as they are about something. And they're
show your friends, they'll show you your future.
Exactly. I need a group. I need somebody who's going to hold me accountable, help me out in this situation. And you're going to find a chief is going to be there for you. Very interactive, by the way. Say if somebody hits me with a DM, I'm responding.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, they're flooding. They're flooding the DMs right now.
So what's going to stop us from achieving this?
I think the only thing that could stop us is if we quit. I think that's truly, in my mind, if you stop innovating, right? Say we go this quote path and it just doesn't work out. And by the end of 2023, we've got, 100 followers, and they're all my friends that I've pressured into following me. Maybe that's not the route we need to go. Maybe we need to go someplace else to find our value, make ourselves valuable. I think when we stop creating and start getting complacent and just doing the same thing, expecting the same outcomes, that's when we're gonna fail. But truthfully, I don't think there's any way we fail. I think this is going somewhere. It might not be good. It might not go where we think it will. But someday we're going to look back and go, wow, I can't believe this started out as that, and now we're here.
Brad Pitt in Moneyball said, adapt or die.
Right.
Probably the first guy to ever say that. I don't think Alexander the Great ever said that.
I mean, if you think about it, Jeff Bezos wanted to create a book club community.
Really?
That was his original idea. It was book club, and then let's get books to people faster, and then let's take over Barnes & Noble. And then now we have Amazon. And Barnes & Noble's still there. They're still available.
Charles Darwin said, the species that will survive is not the strongest, it is not the smartest, it is that which is most willing to adapt.
I mean, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Old Chuck Darwin.
Yeah, I know. That old guy. I think, personally for this brand too, Cade and I are probably the most creative in a certain sense of the word in terms of new ideas or coming up with things that could help out the brand, and I'm really excited to see where that kind of takes us. I was going to share the coaching and mentoring idea I had. I don't even know if I've shared it with you, but this summer in my I live in a little golf cart community. All these kids play golf all the time. I'll play golf with them, and they're all high schoolers, right? And they're all like, wait, you run for Clemson? Or somehow they find out. I don't like to throw it at them, but I got Clemson club heads.
I like to throw it at
I like to run away with it. And then they'll ask, something, we'll get on the topic, and then they start asking me all these questions. How'd you get recruited? How'd you get the coach's attention? How'd you get to that level? What do I have to do? And I'm like, you know what I want to do is start the Achieve Coaching and Mentoring program. Bring those kids in this summer and be like, hey, do you want real professional coaching? I'm here to give it to you. I'll mentor you. I'll take you under my wing. I'll tell you everything that I know for your betterment. And at a small fee to your parents, we can make our way to. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And we can get these kids to the next level and give them all the tips and tricks, because I would truthfully love to give back. Not that community gave me anything because I didn't grow up there, but I would love to give back to those kids and teach them something that I've learned along the way, and turn this into more of an interactive community where I can be like, hey, that 16-year-old kid went on to become a PGA Tour champion. That would be dope. So
yeah. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start the same thing in Orange County for lifting, I'm sure there's nothing else like it out there. Would that be wrong?
You're wrong. I actually did work with middle schoolers for a strength training program in my high school weight room. I was one of the coaches.
Okay.
So that was something I did hands on. It was sweet.
Well, that's good.
Seeing kids they're 12 years old,
right,
with veins in their neck, squatting 85 pounds. I'm like, God, I love that so much.
It just amps you up. Yeah, it amps you up. And I go out there and I get my ass beat by some 15-year-old kid. I mean, he's a hot shot and he'll just smoke a drive, and I'll be like, dude, you weigh like 107 pounds, and you're hitting the ball probably 40 yards farther than me.
Yeah.
And then that second shot. I mean, it's crazy. One kid played with me with his shoes off the whole time.
Brutal.
Yeah, and beat me by like 15 strokes. I mean, it just wasn't even fair.
There's a video at Cal Strength where Donnie Schenkel used to train, where they were having a competition of who could snatch the most that day, and one of the younger guys in the squad put a kilo on Donnie's snatch and snatched it barefoot.
That's hard.
Spencer
That's
Mormon.
crazy. Wow, that is dope.
I love weightlifting so much.
Me too. Another goal that I shared with you, 200 pounds by the end of 2023. Which is ambitious. I'm saying benching 200 pounds by the end of 2023.
You're not gonna weigh that,
right? It's probably more likely that I bench it than I get it.
No, but this is really gonna be like the core of Achieve. Is something you hear in like lifting weights, progressive overload. If you can't do more weight, then try your hardest to do one more rep.
Right.
If you can't do more reps, then try your hardest to put a 2.5 on each side and do it all over again.
Sure.
Something in weightlifting is the sense of courage that a weightlifter has. You know how much weight is on the bar.
Right.
It's like it's really rare in sports. You are saying, I'm about to set a world record. People in pole vault, they set it at that height, and they're like, guys, this is about to be the best pole vault that anybody's ever seen in history.
Right.
It's kind of rare in sports,
right.
But in weightlifting, you choose to be great.
You call your shot.
Yeah, exactly. You call your shot. You're the one that chooses the weight you're going to do. And you do it or you fail.
Yeah. No, that is absolutely so attractive to me. I mean, I'd said by the end of 2023 I wanted to bench 135, and then that became like my rep weight now.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. For me, I didn't lift before. So I was like, I want to get up to my body weight, like 150, 155 range. And I'm already there, which is for one rep. But like the 135, I was just like, by the end of this year, I want to be able to do 135. And then, January 1st, I'm hitting 3 reps of 135.
No.
And that is awesome because it's just so quantifiable. It's just like, here's where I was, here's where I'm going. Now I just add 10, add 20. And then one day I'm doing 185 thinking 15 more pounds and I've got my goal.
Dude, not to talk about college essays again. I wrote a lot about stuff I was passionate about. But my main personal statement essay was about weightlifting. And I called it like a meritocracy of numbers. There's no opinions. You're either lifting more or you're lifting less or you're lifting the same as somebody else.
Right.
400 pounds, one of my sentences was, I think 400 pounds the day my dad has a heart attack is the same 400 pounds the day that I ace a test. You leave your feelings at the door
clock
and you do it.
Clock out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That is very important.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap up soon. This little thing. I don't know how long we've been going for. It could be like 30 minutes. I don't know. What would you guess? 23?
27:35.
Okay. That sounds good. Any more questions? Anything else? One last one.
I got nothing.
Where are you at right now in shot put? And where do you want to
I'm not doing too well in shot put,
You're
considering
talking
it's
hammer?
not my event. I do hammer throw
I'm a bad
weight throw.
friend.
It's
I'm
fine.
a bad friend. Weight throw is what I was looking for.
I'm in a weird place right now because I feel like I'm very, very close to finding my throw.
Okay.
It's very frustrating being extremely strong to pat my own back and throwing very not extremely far.
Right.
My coach literally told me last year, I've never seen a thrower that's so strong and throw so short. And I was like, man, that sucks.
That's
but
tough.
Whatever.
That's tough to hear.
I'm going to keep grinding, obviously. And I'm trying some new stuff in my technique. I'm not trying to get too deep into it, but it's called a toe turn.
Okay.
Usually you turn on the bottom of your heel,
right.
And for a first turn, I'm turning on both toes.
Okay.
So it kind of takes up less space, and one of my issues is pulling the left side too much, like I'm muscling it, instead of being long and loose, so that kind of prevents you from being able to do that. So I'm very close to finding my throw, and letting it fly.
Where are we at numbers-wise?
I had a post-wrist injury PR, which was 2 centimeters off of my real PR, but my 14.41 meters.
Okay. And where are we trying to be?
16 meters by the end of the season.
16 meters. All right, sweet. That wraps up episode 1. Go hit Achieve Socials. This is going to be out on YouTube, as I'm sure you know because you're watching it there. So thanks for having me. I'm glad that you came on. And let's
same time next week?
Yeah, no, quite literally same time next week. Let's make sure this got all recorded. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it through the whole episode, we really appreciate it. We would love to hear your feedback in the comments. Please subscribe, like, comment, anything you want to see, want to hear about our journeys, or anything we can talk about in a future episode. And we'll see you in a week. Follow Achieve Socials on Instagram and TikTok for more. And as always, what did you achieve today? We'll see ya.